You're listening to the One Hit Wonder series on Rock and Roll Flashback podcast
with your host, Jumpin John McDermott.
Thank you for that introduction and welcome to the One Hit Wonders series on Rock and Roll Flashback. Back in Rock and Roll Flashback podcast episode numbers 33 and 34, I discussed the development of psychedelic rock music in the 1960s and 1970s. Today's podcast episode will focus on 4 psychedelic rock songs released during the late 1960s that I would characterize as one-hit wonders. These 4 songs by 4 different bands featured some of the studio experimentation, distortion effects, and trippy lyrics that were being incorporated in the emerging psychedelic rock genre in the late 1960s. Of the 4 bands mentioned in this podcast episode, only one proved to be long-lasting. The Chambers Brothers ended up performing together for parts of 4 decades, from the 1950s into the 1980s. The Chambers Brothers band of the late 1960s was part of the wave of new music that integrated American blues and gospel traditions with modern psychedelic and rock elements. Originally from Carthage, Mississippi, the 4 Chambers Brothers first sang together as members of the choir in their Baptist church. Then, beginning in 1954, the foursome played gospel and folk music throughout the Southern California region. Initially, the Chambers Brothers consisted of George on washtub bass, Lester on harmonica, and Willie and Joe on acoustic guitars. By 1965, the group started to venture outside the gospel circuit, playing at coffee houses that booked folk acts. While performing at the Ash Grove Folk Club in Los Angeles, they caught the eye of Barbara Dane. Dane felt that the Chambers Brothers would be perfect to perform freedom songs that were gaining popularity. So Dane became a great supporter of the group, performing and recording with the brothers. With the addition of Brian Keenan on drums, Dane took them on tour with her and introduced them to Pete Seeger. Pete Seeger put the Chambers Brothers on the bill of the 1965 Newport Folk Festival. One of the songs they performed there, I Got It, was included on the Newport Folk Festival 1965 compilation LP. On the night of their Newport Folk Festival performance, the Chambers Brothers played at a post-concert party for festival performers. They also attended a Bob Dylan recording session. Dylan had performed with electric instruments for the first time at that same festival. Shortly after appearing at Newport, the group released its debut album, People Get Ready. Already successful on the folk circuit, the Chambers Brothers decided to convert to electric guitars and develop more of a rock and roll sound. In 1966, the band recorded an early version of a song written by Willie and Joe Chambers called Time Has Come Today. However, that recording was rejected by the band's label, Columbia Records. Instead, on December 19, 1966, Columbia released the single All Strung Out Over You, backed with Falling in Love. All Strung Out Over You became a regional hit for the group, giving them the opportunity to re-record Time Has Come Today. The new recording of Time Has Come Today featured a fuzz guitar twinned with a clean one, echoing vocal effects, and Keenan's prominent drumming. Another effect employed in this recording and production was the alternate striking of 2 cowbells producing a tick-tock sound. The tick-tock was warped throughout most of the song by reverb, echo, and changes in tempo. The song also included an extended freak out in the middle as well as several bars from The Little Drummer Boy. With its psychedelic feel, the resultant song has been described as psychedelic rock, psychedelic soul, and acid rock. The newly created 11-minute 6-second recording of Time Has Come Today was featured on the album The Time Has Come. That LP was released in November 1967. A year later, on December 14, 1968, at its 27th week on the Billboard Albums chart, it peaked at number 6. In Canada, the album reached number 11, and it ranked number 79 on the Cashbox Top 100 Pop Albums of 1968. For play on AM radio, Columbia released 2 edited single versions of shorter length. They were released as single versions in December 1967. In September and October 1968, the Time Has Come Today single spent 5 consecutive weeks at number 11 on the Billboard Hot 100. In Canada, the song reached number 9. Here is an edited version of Time Has Come Today. Time Has Come Today has been covered by many artists over the years since its initial release. The song has also been featured in a number of movies, television shows, commercials, and other forms of entertainment. It is now considered one of the landmark rock songs of the psychedelic era. The Chambers Brothers disbanded in 1972, but reconvened 2 years later. They released 2 more studio albums and performed live occasionally through the 1970s and 1980s. Be sure to check out Questlove's excellent Summer of Soul documentary from 2021. That film tells the story of the 1969 Harlem Cultural Festival and features the Chambers Brothers. The Strawberry Alarm Clock came about in 1967 when parts of 2 Southern California bands, the Sixpence and Waterford Train, merged into one. The merged group kept the Sixpence name and were based in the LA suburb of Glendale, California. Their initial lineup consisted of Ed King, lead guitar vocals, Michael Luciano, vocals, Lee Freeman, rhythm guitar, harmonica vocals, Gary Lovetro, bass, Steve Rabe, guitar vocals, and Gene Gunnels, drums. When Gunnels, Rabe, and Luciano departed, Randy Seol, drums, vibes, percussion, vocals, and Mark White's keyboards, vocals, joined the band. They immediately changed the band name to Strawberry Alarm Clock. The first and most famous single by Strawberry Alarm Clock was Incense and Peppermints, produced by Frank Slay. To sing lead on the track, Slay chose Greg Munford, a 16-year-old friend of the band from another group called Shapes of Sound. The song was originally released by All American Records as a B-side to The Birdman of Alcatraz. The Uni Records subsidiary of MCA picked up the record for national distribution, and the single was re-released in May 1967 with Incense and Peppermints as the A-side and Birdman as the B-side. During the week ending November 25th, 1967, the song reached number 1 for 1 week on the Billboard Hot 100 and remained on the charts for a total of 16 weeks. A gold disc was awarded for sales of 1 million copies by the RIAA on December 19th, 1967. Here is Incense and Peppermints.
Mankind, dead kings, many things I can't define. Occasions, spots, wagons, clutter your mind. Incense and peppermints, the color of time. Who cares what games we choose? Little to win, but nothing to lose. Incense and peppermints, meaningless nouns. Turn on, tune in, turn your eyes around. Look at yourself, look at yourself. Yeah, look at yourself, look at yourself. Tutor by the cockeyed world in two. Throw your pride to one side, it's the least you can do. Beatniks and politics, nothing is new. A yardstick for lunatics, one point of view. Who cares what games we choose? Little to win, but nothing to lose. Good sense, innocence, grip of mankind. Dead kings and many things I can define. Occasions pass, wagons clutter your mind. Incense and peppermints, the color of time. Who cares what games we choose? Little to win, but nothing to lose. Incense, peppermints, incense.
Shortly after recording Incense and Peppermints, the band added George Bunnell on bass, rhythm guitar, and vocals before making their first album. Songwriters Bunnell and Steve Bartek participated in the writing and recording of Strawberry Alarm Clock's first LP. Also titled Incense and Peppermints, it reached number 11 on the U.S. album chart in late 1967. Their music was categorized as acid rock, psychedelic pop, and sunshine pop. In November 1967 and again in April 1968, Strawberry Alarm Clock toured with the Beach Boys and Buffalo Springfield. In their early days of touring, the band members would often sit on magic carpets as their roadies carried them to the stage. Drummer Seol would rig up gas jets on his wrists to give the illusion that he was playing the bongos and vibes with his hands on fire. He stopped when the gimmick became too dangerous. The band also made a cameo appearance performing Incense and Peppermints in the Richard Rush 1968 film Psych Out. During Strawberry Alarm Clock's short lifespan, the band would undergo numerous lineup changes. The Lemon Pipers were a short-lived 1960s rock band from Oxford, Ohio. The band was comprised of drummer Bill Albaugh, guitarist Bill Bartlett, vocalist Dale Ivan Brown, keyboardist Robert Nave, and bassist Steve Walmsley, who replaced the original bass guitarist Bob Dude Dudek. The band was formed in 1966 by student musicians from Oxford, Ohio, who had played the college bars with their previous groups that included the Wombats, Ivan and the Sabres, and Tony and the Bandits. The band played a mixture of blues, hard rock, and folk rock, with a few covers from the Byrds and the Who. They gigged regularly in Oxford at the Boar's Head and in Cincinnati at the Mug Club and the Ludlow Garage. The original band existed as a quartet and then gained notoriety by reaching the finals in the Ohio Battle of the Bands at the Cleveland Public Auditorium in 1967, losing out to the James Gang. With Miami University student Brown as frontman, the Lemon Pipers engaged Ohio music industry impresario Mark Barger. On advice from Barger, the Lemon Pipers signed a recording contract and music publishing deal with Buddha Records. Paul Leka was assigned to be their record producer. The group began playing larger auditorium and concert hall venues around the U.S. On March 21, 1968, they appeared at Fillmore West on the same bill with Traffic, Moby Grape, and Spirit. Buddha's plans for the group focused on bubblegum pop rather than rock music. Their debut on Buddha was a Bartlett composition, Turn Around and Take a Look. When the song failed to make the charts, Buddha asked Leka and his songwriting partner, Shelley Pins, to come up with a song. The resulting song was Green Tambourine. The band reluctantly recorded it. Multiple studio effects were incorporated in the recording. In addition to using an electric sitar, producer Leka used a heavy psychedelic tape echo applied to the word play in each chorus and at the end, fading into a drum roll. The musical arrangement also features sweeping orchestrated strings and the distinctive vibroslap percussion instrument. Leka hired a string section to accompany the band to add extra depth to the already psychedelic arrangement. Green Tambourine was released in November 1967 and reached number 1 in February 1968 on the Billboard and Cashbox charts. The song peaked at number 7 in the UK singles chart and was also a hit worldwide. Here is Green Tambourine.
Silver in my tambourine,
my green tambourine. Watch the jingle jangle start to shine. Reflections of the music that is mine. When you toss a coin, you hear it sing. Now listen while I play my green tambourine. Drop a dime before I walk away. Any song you want, I'll gladly play. Money feeds my music machine. Now listen while I play my green tambourine.
Green Tambourine sold over 2 million copies and was awarded a gold disc by the RIAA in February 1968. The song has been credited as being the first bubblegum pop chart topper. The success of Green Tambourine caused the label to put pressure on the Lemon Pipers to stay in the same genre. In March 1968, the band released another Lekka Pins song, Rice is Nice, which failed to break into the top 40 on the U.S. Billboard charts. The band had little enthusiasm for either song. The band members were conflicted, having been a stand-up rock and roll band and then all of a sudden being told how and what to play in the studio. The band would record 2 albums for Buddha, Green Tambourine and Jungle Marmalade, but neither was commercially successful. The Lemon Pipers left the Buddha label in 1969 and later dissolved. Bubble Puppy was formed in 1966 in San Antonio, Texas by Rod Prince and Roy Cox. They had previously performed together in the rock group called the Bad Seeds. Looking to form a new rock band based on the concept of dual lead guitars, Prince and Cox recruited guitarist Todd Potter. With the addition of Danny Segovia and drummer Clayton Pulley, the original lineup of Bubble Puppy was complete. The name Bubble Puppy was taken from Centrifugal Bumble Puppy, a fictitious children's game in Aldous Huxley's 1932 novel Brave New World. After some band member departures, the final lineup of Bubble Puppy settled with Rod Prince and Todd Potter on lead guitars, Roy Cox on bass guitar, and David Fuzzy Four on drums. In the spring of 1967, Bubble Puppy moved to Austin, Texas, and signed a recording contract with Houston-based International Artists. The band appeared and toured with many notable artists from 1967 until 1971, including The Who, Grand Funk Railroad, Canned Heat, Steppenwolf, Jefferson Airplane, Bob Seger, Johnny Winter, and Janis Joplin. Bubble Puppy's only hit was the psychedelic single Hot Smoke and Sassafras. Released in 1969, the song would become International Artists' biggest single. It peaked at number 14 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 15 in Canada. In addition to its misspelling of sassafras, the title was inspired by a line of dialogue heard in an episode of The Beverly Hillbillies. Here is Hot Smoke and Sassafras.
sassafras, many things will come to pass. And the smoke shall rise again to the place above where it began. Bring the fire and flame, truly as it brought the rain. But in the gardens of the moon, time is held within the silver spoon. Place at last, then you need not use the looking glass.
Attempting to capitalize on the song's unexpected success, Bubble Puppy released their debut album that year titled A Gathering of Promises, but sales were poor and the group parted ways with international artists in 1970. Bubble Puppy moved to Los Angeles in 1970 and changed their name to Demian. Demian signed a contract with ABC Dunhill Records. They released one self-titled album in 1971, but its failure to perform on the charts led to financial difficulties with the label and the group's breakup in 1972.
You're listening to the One Hit Wonders series on Rock and Roll Flashback podcast
with your host, Jumpin John McDermott.
This concludes another episode in the One Hit Wonders series on Rock and Roll Flashback. We hope you enjoyed Psychedelic One Hit Wonders, 4 songs from the late 60s. I'm Jumpin John McDermott.
And until next time,
rock on, rock on, rock on, rock on.